Imagine if a pawn shop became a global phenomenon, making ordinary individuals famous. The old man, Richard Harrison, created that universe. What did his lengthy shadow leave on Austin Russell, the kind Chumlee who was like family but not blood? The explanation may go beyond money and into his life and renown. Richard Harrison opened his first pawn store in 1981. It was a 300-square-foot business on Las Vegas Boulevard. Dedicated to building something extraordinary, he worked hard every day. Without Richard's vision and perseverance, the business and Chumlee's chance to join it would not exist. The shop hosted Chumlee's surprise inheritances because Richard was its main reason. The pawn shop took time to succeed. Richard and son Rick faced many obstacles. They moved to a larger Fremont Street location in 1986 after 5 years in the little shop. Richard received a special authorization to acquire and sell used products in 1987. However, their lease expired in 1988. This caused them to shift again, this time to Las Vegas' largest pawn store, less than 2 miles from the Strip. This is our familiar shop. The shop's comprehensive history of movements and license issues shows how they overcame challenges and changed with the times. Richard and Rick persisted. Chumlee received more than a job, an example of how to manage a strong, smart business. This taught him basic business, even if it wasn't in class. Back then, getting a Las Vegas pawn license was difficult. A 1955 law limited new pawn licenses to cities with 250,000 residents. Richard and Rick launched in Las Vegas with 20,000 people. Rick checked the population count weekly with the city statistician for almost 2 years. In 1988, the population exceeded 200,000, and in 1989, 250,000. They got their license after legal challenges, like winning the lottery for them. Rick contacting weekly for years to get the pawn license demonstrates perseverance. After losing $1 million in real estate, Richard moved to Las Vegas in 1981 with $5,000 to start over and had a long-term pawn business strategy. Austin Russell, better known as Chumlee, was not born into the Harrison family but grew up with them. He was close friends with Corey Harrison, Richard's grandson and Rick's son as a child. Rick considered Chumlee his son due of their close bond. As a child, he frequented the gold and silver pawn shop. Chumlee's continuous mention as Corey's childhood pal, Rick's son, and a kid in the shop suggests he was part of the family company casually from the start. Not a job interview. It came naturally. Chumlee's inheritance began before he was an official worker by learning about the pawn shop world and the Harrison family's lifestyle. It implies he received more personal instruction than job training. Chumlee started working at the gold and silver pawn shop at 21 in 2003. He worked there for 5 years before Pawn Stars began filming in July 2009. Working behind the counter, testing customer items, loading them into storage, and writing tickets for shop purchases were his everyday tasks. Richard the old man taught Chumlee a lot. Rick Harrison first disliked employing Corey's friend, but he gave Chumlee a chance. Richard raised Chumlee as a family and taught him much. Chumlee stated Richard could always fix or make him laugh. This teaching helped Chumlee flourish. Richard's desire to give Chumlee a chance and treat him like family shows he cared about him more than just as a boss. Chumlee could always count on him to straighten him out or make him laugh, suggesting he taught life lessons, rules, and emotional support as well as business guidance. Rick Harrison pitched a gold and silver pawn store TV show for 4 years, but it failed. Left Field Pictures recognized potential in 2008. A Las Vegas pawn shop reality program was their goal. The History Channel changed it to include specialists who checked goods and showed staff personalities. It was originally called Pawning History, then Pawn Stars. It started in July 2009 and grew popular. Within 10 weeks, it was the History Channel's highest-rated show and TV's second most-watched reality show, behind Jersey Shore. Rick pitched the project, but Richard ran the show and initially didn't want to film. His agreement and presence were crucial to the show's familial vibe. Richard later said getting this TV show was his best idea. This suggests that Richard's longtime hard work at the shop and his unique personality were important to the show's popularity, making his gift of fame to Chumlee a direct outcome of his efforts in establishing the business, and even though he didn't want to, being on the show. Chumlee was an ordinary pawn store worker before Pawn Stars, but the show changed everything. He became popular for his eccentric demeanor, humor, and laid-back style. He became the breakout celebrity loved by millions in America. He sold more t-shirts and novelty goods than any other cast member due to his fame. He founded a corporation to sell them. The show's success helped Chumlee become a household name, breakthrough cast member, and fan favorite, which used Richard's business basis, Chumlee's. Item sales were more than other cast members, demonstrating his fame utilization. Fame, even indirectly, is Chumlee's inheritance because Richard helped develop the platform that made her famous and wealthy. Fame brought new obstacles. Thousands of tourists lined up every day at the gold and silver pawn store. This prevented Chumlee, Rick, and Corey from working the front desk. Fans crowded them, taking pictures of them and unsuspecting customers. Due to privacy rules, this caused issues. They all had to work in the office away from the shop front. Chumlee needed personal help because his fame made his daily job too hard. Fame brought unforeseen complications, such as the transfer from front counter job to office duty due to fan throngs and privacy concerns, and the necessity for personal help. Chumlee made enormous shop blunders, but Richard the old guy was always kind. Before the TV show, a valuable upright bass was pawned for $700, but it was worth much more. Chumlee accidentally knocked it over, shattering it extensively. He put the parts in a box and called it the pawned object, without alerting anyone. When the owner returned, Corey gave him the box, unaware of what happened. Discovering his bass in 1,000 pieces shocked him. This blunder cost the business $20,000 to replace the rare and costly instrument. Corey called it Chumlee's dumbest move ever, yet Richard didn't fire him. Richard's forgiveness shows affection and a belief in second chances, teaching Chumlee a valuable lesson. Richard recognized more in Chumlee than his mistakes. He saw possibility and worth. Richard let Chumlee shoot a blunderbuss, an ancient gun the business bought for exhibition, another time. Chumlee's upper arm was scarred by fire and smoke from shooting Corey's arm. Chumlee would never forget this. Richard's willingness to let Chumlee experience risky things, even if it burned, illustrates a new sort of teaching. Even though it hurt, it was about learning by doing. Thanks to Richard's consent, Chumlee learned about the shop's products firsthand. It also displays trust since Richard included Chumlee in these special times. Chumlee bought a $85,000 Maserati sports car from the old guy after learning negotiation skills, saving $15,000 on $100,000. This shows that Richard's business expertise was handed down, helping Chumlee make prudent financial decisions. Chumlee inherited this practical aptitude, allowing him to use Richard's expertise to better his finances. Unforeseen consequence of their reputation was that Chumlee and his family were banned from garage sales nationwide. Recognition led people to believe they would strive to buy products cheaply or valued items cheaply. Rick claimed a woman stole a painting he liked and told him it wasn't for sale. This may seem like a drawback, but it shows the spread of Richard's fame. The show's influence on Chumlee's public image transformed his life unexpectedly. Even in minor aspects, the show An Old Guy changed Chumlee's world. The show also gave Chumlee fantastic experiences like meeting John Bon Jovi. John Bon Jovi handed the lads front row tickets to his event. Chumlee even brought someone. They met John Bon Jovi's family and kids backstage. Chumlee said he gave us front row seats to his meet and greet so his kids could take a picture with us. Receiving a personal invitation from Bon Jovi to his show is cool. Another rare gift was meeting a famous celebrity thanks to the show's success. Richard's contribution to the show's success gave Chumlee opportunities she might not have had otherwise. This shows how the old man's business fame benefited him indirectly yet significantly. Austin Lee Russell as Chumlee was born in Henderson, Nevada on September 8, 1982. He was nicknamed Chumlee at 12 because his face and chin resembled the Tennessee tuxedo walrus. He endured weight-related bullying as a child, but video games and comic novels helped him cope and make friends. His early background and connection with Corey Harrison and the Harrison family helped him become a TV celebrity. This background illustrates that Chumlee's journey was not always simple, but his personal hobbies and friendships helped him find his way and connect with the business that made him famous. Chumlee has faced legal issues. Police investigated his residence in March 2016 and found crystal meth, marijuana, Xanax, and many guns. Some weapons were unregistered. He was detained but released on bond the next day. Later, in May 2016, he was charged with 20 major felonies, including weapons. Lawyer helped him negotiate. He admitted felony firearms and minor possession. This bargain gave him treatment and 3 years of probation instead of jail. The charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. He surrendered his guns to police. The judge told him that if he stayed out of trouble until 2019, the major accusation would be dropped, leaving only the minor one. Getting into trouble again might result in 2 to 5 years in prison. He later said that seeing his deeds' consequences increased his anxiousness. He needs to choose better. This challenging time exposed Chumlee's flaws and his struggle to get back on track. Even the History Channel considered supporting him, seeing his tribulations as a comeback tale. This proves that Richard Show's platform and connections helped him through his legal troubles. Chumlee prioritized wellness after his legal issues. He struggled with weight for years and reached 350 pounds in January 2019. He had gastric sleeve surgery in February 2018 to remove most of his stomach. He shed 10 pounds following surgery and wanted to break 170. By October 2021, he weighed 190 pounds after losing 160 pounds. He was fed up with his weight and wanted to change. He abstained from alcohol and started eating clean and exercising. A friend, Corey Harrison, shed approximately 200 pounds after weight loss surgery in 2014. Chumlee inspires people with his social media adventure. His metamorphosis displays his strength and drive to develop, showing his maturity from experience. It shows that his struggles, including fame's public scrutiny, led to tremendous personal growth, which might be linked to Richard's life lessons and forgiveness. Chumlee started enterprises using his fame. He opened Chumlee's Candy on Blue V. In May 2017, across from the gold and silver pawn business, the shop is owned by him and his younger brother Sage Russell. Chumlee's favorite candies, candy cigarettes, Turkish taffy, and bulk candy are sold. Big League Chew Bubble Gum sold best on its first day. Chumlee also wants to make lollipops and Rick's Gold Bars. This demonstrates his entrepreneurial energy and use of his public profile to establish new revenue streams. Branded apparel and novelty products have sold better for him than other Pawn Stars cast members. He sold half his novelty item company to Rick Harrison for $155,000 in 2010 to help the pawn store meet orders. This clever business strategy increased his product's reach. Built on Richard's foundations of RK, Richard Harrison's impact on Chumlee endures after his 2018 Parkinson's disease death. Richard's will didn't name Chumlee and gave his son Rick most of his money and business, but Chumlee always considered Richard family. He wrote on Twitter that Richard was a big part of his life, treated him like family, and taught him lifelong lessons. He stated he'd miss him, and that Richard could always fix him or make him laugh. Chumlee's greatest inheritance was Richard's mentorship, personal connection, and life lessons, not money or goods. Chumlee's rise from boyhood pal to TV star and businessman is strongly connected to Richard the Old Man Harrison. Chumlee received a business foundation, a platform for stardom, and most importantly, a lifetime of guidance, forgiveness, and constant love from Richard. These gems from the old man shaped Chumlee's life and achievement more than money ever could.